Is there anybody out there?
No, I just go check.
Text Rebecca Brandt, her mom's old church. What?
That's just like we're selling.
The church for sale, yeah. Yeah. No, gosh, no, that's still gonna be, that's gonna be sold to the county. No, that's sold to the county. The pumper, the county's using it.
Yeah, they're paying $90,000 over 5 years. Oh no, that's the ladder truck. The ladder truck's 97. That's what we're gonna surplus.
I didn't know it was celebrity.
That's a soccer. How are you? Good. Yeah, good to see you.
Oh. Hey, Jimmy. Play ball. Play ball.
The rackadoos are in the house.
That's what I so.
It's
71 in your list.
not in there.
That's tough.
It's about the hall, the foyer, or talking about in the
The
cafeteria?
office.
Well, that heat's on, and then don't be that door's open.
Is there a way to
Sure.
turn that heat on for just that little second?
But typically both doors are open. We got those bathrooms. And that's why, so it's let come out of both doors. I closed the doors about 3:30 today. And then they'll be open tonight.
Yes. I wish there was a way to make it better features. I like the design, but I think there's enough room for this gym and the building. Maybe to go through the features in the park.
All right, let's go ahead and call our work session to order. If y'all pray with me, we'll start running through the agenda. Lord, thank you for allowing us to gather here today. We ask that you bless us. We ask that you watch over us. We ask that you guide us through our city business tonight. We ask that our actions glorify your name. In Jesus' name I pray, amen. All right, first up is discussion of workman's comp policy. Mark, what do you have for us?
I've got Jimbo here from Turnerwood Smith. So Jimbo, I've got handwritten notes on your information there. And Jimbo will go through these. I selected 2 or 3 pages out of each one. And Jimbo will go over those.
Perfect, thank you, Mark. Can everybody hear me? Do I need to go through my microphone?
That's your fine.
Okay, good. So if you will, you can look at your packet. I'm gonna kind of walk you through and explain what you're looking at. So the very first paper you'll see is your insurance, workers' comp insurance renews January 1 of every year, okay? So January 1 of 25 to January 1 of 26, okay? And what I'm gonna point out to you is that the annualized premium was $51,789 a year, okay? The next piece in your packet is the original quote that we were given for the 25 to 26 time period, which included at the time our fire department. And you'll see the annualized premium on that second page was $52,445. Okay? Sometime during the end of the year, Mark and I had a conversation, and he notified me of the change that what was going on with the fire department and everything. So we went back to the carrier with those changes, and that's what you see in the last set of papers there. So without the fire department, from January 1 of 2026 to January 1 of 2027, you'll see the annualized premium is $37,353. So by changing up and not having the fire department like you have had in the past, you effectively saved almost a little over $15,000, $15,092 a year. So quite a bit of savings, as you can see, by not having a fire department. You asked me why, I'll tell you, because the claims expectation on fire is obviously higher than somebody who sits behind a desk here at City Hall. So that's probably the biggest
The
driver.
rates are all based on occupation.
Occupation and payroll, absolutely.
So, Jimbo, with this is renewing with the same company, and today is January the 6th, and we do have coverage.
Correct,
January
absolutely.
1, 26.
So this is a specialty carrier that mostly deals with municipalities, and so they're used to the timing of when you guys have meetings and when policies are new. So yeah, they absolutely carry over coverage and bind it, and then so you never with a lapse or any time without first coverage. Questions, concerns? I'm happy to answer any questions.
As far as coverage, the coverage has stayed the same from what we
Yes,
discussed
sir.
last year.
Absolutely.
Looks like all those things are the same minus.
Absolutely,
fire.
absolutely the same, minus fire and obviously the premium being quite a bit less.
Very, very good.
Does Jimbo need to stay for the voting section, or we answered any questions that y'all have?
And I'm down at Turner Smith, again, Jimbo Floyd, President Turner. If you have a question, I'm happy to answer. Even if you want to call me at the office, Mark knows how to get in touch with me very easily. I'm always open to answer any questions somebody might have.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Guys, y'all have any questions?
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you, guys.
Very good. That's good news. All right, next is gym damage and proposal. Mark, you ready on that one?
Yes, sir. We're back with additional damage again in the gym, from basketball goals being torn down. Our police officers found it on on Saturday or Sunday afternoon, a couple weeks ago, when the gym had been closed. I've had several calls about it, and the public understands that a few apples, bad apples, are causing some issues for everybody in that. With that being said, Rhonda, if you will put up the parking lot pictures again. I've talked with James Irving, our engineer design of the parking lot of that space. You can recall the first picture there is removing the gym and going around to the city hall. This can be done in the adequate parking spaces, but he will be in the drip line of the trees with this design. That's the biggest negative. How far, he doesn't know. But he is giving us a preliminary. Show us the preliminary, please. Just for memory's sake there. We'll enter off of Hazel Street, right back here, and there will be no entrance onto Central out front. So, the biggest thing is, if this was what y'all want me to turn him loose on, and if that's what you want,
We've already voted on it.
I understand, but I'm just letting everybody one more time, because James is nervous. Because getting into the tree line, the drip lines, what it could cost. He's not gonna know until he fully designs this thing.
Right,
And I don't wanna fully design it,
right,
and then we have to trash it and start over.
right.
And we have individuals here with a soccer proposal, and we have Mitch Easley here with a request to be able to do yard sales for Freedom Hill. And so since folks have asked, they are aware of what we voted on. But in the meantime, it could take us 30 to 60 days once we say, all right, James, start. And you'll hear a proposal from both groups. They understand that we could tell them in 60 days, you gotta be out 10 days, because we're starting. And if we do move forward with this, the building won't just be torn down, it'll be repurposed. The repurpose of this is Brian and his crew would remove all the side metal, and we would have a steel company come in, remove the roof, and restructure the beams on the shop property for equipment coverage. And I don't have that number yet, Brian's getting that number. So it's not just torn down and thrown into a dumpster for recycling. But it would not be reinstalled with any sides, it would just be the roof, the lighting, cameras, things of that sort. So these different groups called, and I said, while we're in this midstream of design, is this what we want to look at? Because again, opening the gym to the general public is not going to work out. And I'm sorry about that, but it's just not going to work out unless we have to put somebody down there to babysit, from 9 to 9 or have limited hours. So with that, that's where we are, and that's where from this soccer academy and from Freedom Hill, we'll just have a few minutes to tell y'all about what they want. And they understand they're on an unknown short lease with a short-term notice they would have to remove themselves.
Okay. Y'all wanna take a few minutes and run through what y'all would like to propose?
I'll be happy to. You tell me what works for
Okay, you
you.
wanna go first?
Sure,
Yeah.
thank you. And where do I need to be?
Are you stand or sit,
Stand right.
whatever you want?
Stand right here in the center. Just stand right here.
That's just kind of odd. Can we use the pulpit? Is that all right?
We don't have a copy unless you changed it.
A little bit. We just
Okay,
did. Yeah.
okay.
Thank you.
All right.
And I understand we have 35 minutes, right?
Oh.
Not really. No, I understand. So what you have in your hands is just a proposal, and I'm not going to read it. I think that you guys can do that. But what I want to do today or tonight is just highlight some things and hopefully get you guys to consider access, have given us access to your facilities, but we're aware that it's going to be a parking lot. We get that. But in the meantime, we wanted to ask you to consider allowing us the use of it. And I'll go over some things I think hopefully will get you to consider at least doing that. So I'm going to read a few things because I don't want to miss them, and then I'll talk accordingly. So we are a 501c3 company or entity, and our objective is to invest in our community's kids. We know that when we invest in children, the future looks brighter for everyone, because when you keep them off the streets and off the screens, you give them an avenue to run and to grow and to thrive. And I'm pretty sure that if I say this word, you're not going to know what I'm really saying. I'm going to have to sound it out to you because it's hard. So the word is futsal. Have you guys ever heard of that word? Okay. A few of us have. And futsal is something that is played, that is called worldwide, and it's an indoor soccer program, but it's not your regular boom, boom. No, it's not like that. It's actually a low, we have one here, a low bounce ball, and it is indoor. This is 5-on-5, and it's not soccer, but it's futsal that is known worldwide. And so we think that futsal is a key to doing just that, providing an avenue for the kids. And the idea behind Rapido Soccer Academy, that's us, is to provide a bridge for kids and their families that have no choice but to stop their activities in the winter months because it ends in November and it starts back up in March or so. So Rapido Soccer Academy exists for the purpose of providing continuity and continuity of mental and physical training to the kids and the soccer players and their families, primarily during the winter months. And I'm almost done, okay? I don't want you to fall asleep. I'm almost done. So presently, get this. Presently, there are families that are traveling and I'm not exaggerating, families traveling to Clark County, Stevens County, Hall County, Gwinnett County, to provide their kids the opportunity to maintain their dexterity, their training. So we don't want our community kids to go ahead in that direction. We want them to stay here. Okay, so who are we? So who is the Rapido Soccer Academy? We consist of experienced staff members that live in the community, and we breathe and live soccer, indoor as well as the outdoor. So in the mid-90s, some of you are too young maybe, but in the mid-90s, I had the opportunity to launch the soccer program in our middle schools. You might remember Larry Hill, and he was an awesome man. He had faith. He said, Rolando, do it. So we launched the middle school soccer program. We didn't have it then. And we launched both at North Hab and South Hab at the same time. And so it was a great adventure. Jane Franks, who you guys might know, she's a phenomenal lady. I think she's retired now possibly, but I should be retired. But so we launched it, and it's been successful. And so we are part of that team. So we did that in South Hab and North Hab. For several years, I also coached the high school team. I don't know if you know that. I coached the opportunity to coach the high school soccer team. And it was a great experience. Jaime, our director here, he has coached, is the director of the academy program. Academy program is more higher level soccer. And that'll be important in the next few minutes. I'll tell you why. Okay? And I'm almost done. So RSA is for everyone from first grade to high school. And we want the kids to have the opportunity to develop those skills that will provide a benefit not only to the families, but to our community. And Donnie, you would appreciate that. I think that not many years ago, several folks out here would appreciate this. Several years ago, not many years ago, our Raider program, a soccer program, was not, shall we say, competitive. Okay? The Atlanta teams would come, and their mentality was they're going to mop the floors with us. I mean, that's how bad it was. And I was a coach then, yes, and it was rough. But now, now they not so much anymore. And if you've not seen any of those games, you need to come. It's really phenomenal. So we've come a long ways. And what we're looking for, and well, let me say this. I'm going to call out some names. And I'm going to call out the names. And when I finish the list, I'd like you guys to tell me, if you can guess, what they all have in common, okay? Just a few names. So here we go. Newt, you guys can't say it. Okay. Newt Turk. Okay. Jose Gaspar. Angel Lilick. Brandon Brooks. Andres Mora. Aiden Tyree. Owen Wallace. Ronnie Navarro. Nolan Hammer, and Sawyer Hammer, they call them the twins. Well, they were twins, aren't they? They're twins. The twins. And so, what do you think these names might have in common? They're not in school. Any ideas? Just throw it out. What these kids?
They played soccer.
Yes, they played soccer, and as a result,
and through the Habersham system.
yes.
And as a result, are much better people.
Well, yeah, but guess what? This is what's so neat. Several of these got full rides, scholarships, soccer program. Now, I remember when these kids were small and coaching them. And so, but these kids have full rides. So we give them an opportunity to have a full ride at a college. This guy's thinking, I want my kids to have. So what we are. So what we're asking, so why Demorest, first of all? Demorest is a central location. And being a central location, and we don't have to have the people that are living in the north end or the south end of the county. This is perfect. They don't have to travel across county to just practice. So in conclusion, all right, as you permit RSA, which is Rapido Soccer Academy, RSA, access to the facility, we will care, because I heard earlier that it was going to happen. So we will care and maintain the facility. And that's our responsibility, inside and out. We'll provide you with an umbrella insurance, because obviously that's very crucial, important to the city. And if you deem it necessary, we're prepared to pay a reasonable fee for the use of the facility. We know that it's going to be torn down. We understand that. But if you would allow us access for a period of time, it would benefit so many families in our community. And I just want you to know that I would be very proud to know that we can be in Central. I am Rolando Almazan, and my address is 275 Birchwood Drive in Clarksville. We have family, my brothers, we own property here in Demorest as well. So I would love for you guys to consider that. And again, this would be something that would be benefit the families and children of our community. And I could read those names that I read to you guys. They're just names to some of you, but they got scholarships to go to full ride to college.
What is your practice schedule?
Good question. Practice schedules vary throughout the week. In the evenings, 6 Saturdays, Friday or Saturdays, and all of them are coached, and we have adults present. And these are, again, primarily kids from elementary school to high school, and we provide training for the kids. And it's just a few months, but it'd be great use of the facility, and it would be an honor for us to be able to do that.
Y'all play games on the weekend?
Yeah, but not there. Yes, and Jaime can address that.
Yes, there's still some games. There'll be training throughout the week, and on the weekends there'll be games.
Here, if this is allowed.
Correct. Yeah, they're usually.
And they're just 5 on. They're not full. This is 5 on 5, and this low bounce ball, which means it doesn't.
You play in the full court, or you play at twos?
You can do both.
Both.
Okay.
Yeah.
You can do one game, or you can do 2 games.
Okay.
And we have significant. And I just tell you, I'm so proud when I go to the high school games, to where we were, to where we are now, because we have the program. And this is going to continue us getting more competitive in our region, so that when they hear the Raiders, they want them to tremble. So I'm happy to answer any question you have. And Wade Rhodes, we were with Wade Rhodes in the past. Jim Clements, Joe Wilson, who's no longer with us. So we were in the very beginning, established the program. We have a very strong soccer program now, both in the high school and academy level here. And we just need a location that's gonna help the kids continue improving their skills, and parents, that's not so far to drive so far away. I think you all agree with that. So, yeah. So any questions that can help you give us a positive? Yes, sir.
You said you have insurance to cover your.
Yes, sir. Yep.
A visiting team, would that also cover them as well?
Yeah, and that's something that we would address. We wouldn't, go ahead.
Yeah, we won't have teams from Athens coming here. It's all local.
It's local people.
So it's all pretty much
Through
like
RSA.
Rec basketball teams. It's all people from Haversham.
Yeah.
So we won't be having like Commerce team over here. Or
It's only our community and our region area. Keep the kids, especially winter months.
Even the high school kids?
Yeah, through high school. And yeah, they're especially the older ones, they're anxious to do something. Give us somewhere to go. And we would love to have Demorest be the location, even if a few months. We'd be honored to be taken care of. And I think you'd be proud and happy that you did make that decision for it, helped us with it. Anyone else?
No, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you guys, appreciate your
Thanks
time.
for your presentation.
Yes.
Very good. All right, Vince. Just step up and speak to us. Thanks for coming.
Oh, no, thank you for the opportunity. I don't have a paper, or I haven't passed out anything. I'll be totally honest with you. I called yesterday. I called originally before the holidays, but it was busy. I just thought I better wait. So the reason for my call yesterday was, for those of you that are not, well, I live at 154 Loudermill Lane, about a mile from here, on property at Freedom Hill Recovery Home for Women, where my wife and I are the directors, and my family lives there. And so we also operate a thrift store there. And certain times of the year, this being one of them, we get, thankfully, bombarded with donations after the holidays, or yard sales, estate sales, and things like that. We get a lot of, right now, clothing. It seems like everybody's shedding some clothes in hopes of losing some weight this year. But the reason for my call, though, is we were hoping to have a large sale to move a lot of this inventory, bring, of course, some much needed resources in for Freedom Hill. But being such a prime location, it helps to raise awareness about Freedom Hill. Some people don't even know we're here. Some of you folks may not even know we're here. And those of you that don't know anything about Freedom Hill, we are a 1-year Christ-centered recovery program for women struggling with substance abuse and a variety of other things that bring them to us. We are a 501c3, and 100% of the proceeds from our thrift store and the sales of such go to fund our program. So that was the reason for my call. It's close. There were yard sales here in the past, and we get a phone call, hey, everything that's left over, can y'all come pick it up and put it in your thrift store? Heck yeah. And so we'll come pick it up. And the ladies love coming out and doing it. And I love hearing about the soccer because I've got my 3 boys who've come use the gym respectfully. And then we've got a lot of the kids from the ladies who are in our program that their children come to visit, like during the holidays, looking for something to do. That sounds really cool. And some of them are going to stay local. So I don't know, honestly, I don't know what's been voted on, timeline, anything like that. But in the meantime, it would be awesome if organizations could use the facility. Deposits, cleaning deposits, security deposits, whatever would need to be done to ensure that it's treated respectfully. In the meantime, I don't know of we don't have a community center in Demorest. You got to go to Cornelia or Clarksville or something to find a large enough place. And to be honest with you, I don't know that Freedom Hill could afford to use something that size. Plus, it's so convenient for us. But anyway, I appreciate you, letting me.
How would you consider locations other than indoor locations for yard sale? Like, we've got several pieces of property here that could be used for yard sale, but it would be outside. For example, park, which is central and high visibility, or something like that. Ball field as well, even the front yard.
And I'm not opposed to that. My only concern with that would be we would be bringing things over and setting it up the night before or the day before. And 1, it would be secure, but number 2, it would be out of the elements. So that way we could get over here in the afternoon when the ladies get done eating lunch, come bring a couple loads, and dinner, come bring a couple more loads, say on a Friday. And that way we can get in there, bring them a dozen pizzas and set the thing up, Friday night, and then Saturday morning, flip the lights on at 7 o'clock, ready to rock and roll, and provide an opportunity for the community to come in, So, but again, I appreciate the opportunity. Any other questions about Freedom Hill? I appreciate your time.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming.
Hey, I just want to say something real quick. The soccer thing is amazing. My 2 boys play soccer the whole time. They love it. And it's something to do in between our seasons. It's amazing what he has went through, what my other one has started. It's actually brought them up beautifully. It keeps them active, off the TV. I love it. I love it so much. It's every day I do soccer. I'm all over the place. I race them by myself, but it would be great. But the one thing is like, if you're raising your kids like that to do stuff like that, I don't think they're going to tear anything up. Like, I think you're a good parent. I think that you raised your kids good. I don't think, like, if you open a facility, they're not going to start tearing up stuff. And, hopefully you're raised right if your parents are doing stuff like that for you. So.
The only thing I would say about that is we've got where the parents made the kids come forward. And it's not necessarily a poor child or a rich kid, it's across the board, and they're not afraid to do it with adults in the building.
Yeah,
So there are plenty of people that want to dunk and be a superstar on an 8-foot goal. Signs everywhere. They're not going to follow the rules. And that's what we've experienced for the last 18 months to 2 years. Because I hear what you're saying, and we all wish that.
I
But the true
know.
character is, how do you act when nobody's looking? I got plenty of people looking, and
That's
people
true.
misacting.
Well, that's true.
So, but thank you for your comments.
That's right.
Because again, y'all or Mitch's group wouldn't be there without adult supervision. That's totally different, because we open the gym at 9 a.m. and we close it at 9 p.m. with the police officers. That's 12 hours to do a lot of things.
Yeah.
We have found clothing left over,
Yeah.
and so anything can go on there. We have cameras in there, but most of these folks are young people, and we can't put their face out there to say, who is this young person that did this?
Yeah, that's it.
And it defeats my purpose of having the cameras and security without having a person to man the facility.
Thank you for your words.
Thank you.
May I speak on the same topic,
Yes, ma'am.
please? Kudos to soccer or the yard sale, no problem. But in this winter is basketball. We have very limited resources for young people to be able to practice, okay? They're very limited to where they can go and practice. Having the facility here has been a godsend to us. My grandson plays basketball. I raised my children here. My girls went to Demorest school. And now my grandchildren are here. I've been here for 35, been a downtown MCU residence for 35 years. And having the open gym has been one of the better things that has been done for the community in a long, long time. I understand, yes, there are people who are going to be always cause trouble and make it harder for everybody else. But I don't understand why we can't put maybe a better security system. I'm sure the police officers drop by occasionally. We did have an incident, well, right before it closed, before it was vandalized this time. And we had some young guys that were in there, and our 12-year-old kids were on half a court. There were some late teens, early 20s, maybe, young people, a lot of tags from out of county. And here, reeked of marijuana. You know, we didn't see any on the property or them actually participating there. But if, you know, they were there. And, you know, even if our officers, when they see a large crowd of vehicles out there, maybe just walk in, make a presence. And I'm sure they've done that. But I don't know, I mean, can we get another security system? Is it definitely going to be torn down? Is it, what are some possibilities to be able to have this facility available for young people? And I have no problem I have no problem with other people coming in or, you know, out of people from out of county. I have no problem with that. But, you know, you just hate for facilities to be that are positive to be taken away because of the few. And I understand the cost, you know, I know, you know, even down at the park, you know, there've been vandals down there and not long after the new equipment was down there, it was vandalized. But I really am hoping there's some way we can save this facility.
Ma'am, part of this discussion, obviously, I don't believe you attended some meetings earlier
I have not. I did not know this had happened.
Right. we've had discussions about, because we have to build a parking lot in the front.
Yes,
And there were 10 folks or so that said, save those 2 trees, find another way.
yes,
So the only other way,
is to take down the gym.
yes ma'am. So trees, better system with the gym.
We don't even know if we get entrance from the.
Well, that's part of it too, is that plan that was up there had entrance and exiting from a safety standpoint
Right.
going back. And if we left the gym and put it back on the front, you got West Central and Florida, people trying to come out, take a right, people trying to come out, take a left. And that was a concern of mayor and council also.
Right.
And the only one way to avoid that is to do this. So,
All right, well, I have another question. In that same little scenario, where am I? I have to get located.
Alabama's right here.
Going down Pine. Okay. The White House that's on the right, I mean, I'm.
Right, back this way.
Okay.
Back this way. The 4-way will be right here.
I can't get my bearings. Yes, right over there. Now, all right. I've heard, I haven't been to the meetings, no, but I've heard that there's gonna be like, apartments or townhouses or something built in there. Is that?
No apartments.
No. Okay, so it's not gonna be like multiple,
It would most likely, basically be a single family homes.
okay, all right, that's what I was checking, because of the traffic issue on that road. That road.
It's gonna get more traffic, absolutely.
Right, it's, it stays pretty busy now and,
And it's narrow and it's not gonna get any wider.
Right, right, and, which we put the, speed bump down there, that was the last time I had been to a meeting. But, and people just kind of hop on over it, and, there are families, and it's a neighborhood, they live there. I mean, this is where we are all back in there, and people are fine. But, that was another question.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. Thanks for your words.
Casey, talk about limitations, whether it's Holly Street coming around the curve at 197 right there, Holly, or Pine Street, when you have your limitations of how you can run radar, even if you can, what can you do?
Basically, back here, all we can do is be seen, which we try to travel that road. We have to have so many distance to run radar or laser. There's not any place to do that. We also have to be permitted for that. The state gives us a permit for the roads that do have those distances on there, and those are not. That's why they put speed bumps on there to slow them down, but, but we do travel the roads.
I
around
see
through there,
you guys.
and we try to have a presence out there. That's the main thing we can do, because when people see us, they slow down. But we can't run radar and laser on these back roads because of the distance.
Right.
Thank you, Casey.
Thank you, sir.
All right, gentlemen, any more discussion about the gym or the proposals that are in front of us? Or y'all need a few minutes to think about those things?
I would like to bring up one thing. I would like to explore the option. It sounds like even the parking lot that's being proposed now is going to get into the roots of these trees.
He's just concerned he could get into it. He's given the word could.
Right. So, if we continue moving forward and them trees end up having to go anyway, sounds like this gym means a lot to the people in this community. It's a nice facility. We enjoy it for the community ourselves. I appreciate the opportunity for us to have those. And it sounds like the soccer team could really benefit from it. I'm not supporting leaving it open unmanned for people to play basketball just because of this. Now, I do support basketball teams, great teams that may want to use it to, contact the city to say, is it available?
But just for that, Andrew, to add, it's first come, first served.
I understand that, I do understand that, so I mean, if one team, you know, says, but I'm not opposing, I'm not saying leave it open every yard, I'm not. I would like to explore the opportunity of seeing if it's possible to have the entrance to the front parking lot between the end of this building and the gymnasium. If we could just have the entrance, and if the 2 trees have to go in order to put a parking spot, you know, parking lot the size of option 1, I would support that 100%. I know people love the trees, but they're trees, and based on the plans that you had brought before us with planting smaller trees out there, landscaping is going to look nice. I feel like that gymnasium adds more to this community than tearing it down. I do. So that's my opinion on it.
Thanks for speaking of that, Andrew.
No problem. It means a lot to me. And there's not a lot of them facilities of that size in this area.
What is available is not free will, free come and go.
That's right.
There's
That's right.
always somebody there.
That's right. That's right.
And that's the difference.
That's right. So.
I will tell you what I will not do. I will never vote to leave that gym there and send elderly people out the front of this.
No, not the entrance, off the
The
front.
entrance over there,
Right.
turning left, turning right. The
Right.
majority of the people that come here during the day, and
Right.
if you've ever been here during the day, are elderly people. And there is no way I'm putting my mama out there to take a left turn while that turn goes that way, that drops off that way, and we got an elbow that goes right. And then we're gonna put an entrance right there. Not gonna happen.
No, not the entrance
Not
off
gonna
the
happen
front
on
of the
my
street.
watch. That will get a no vote from me. It'll have to be a 3-1.
No, I'm saying an entrance between this building and the gym. Still
That
can't.
puts it closer to the trees.
No, I'm not saying entrance there. I'm saying you enter the parking lot from this back
I
road.
understand what you're saying.
Right, right. And I agree with you. The entrance off that main road is not, it should not happen. No, I agree with you 100%. But there's a way to save that gym and have an entrance between the 2 buildings and into the parking lot on the front yard. The idea for me. You know, but no, I agree with you 100%, Donnie.
Any other discussion on
I
that?
love that.
Yeah, we can definitely take it up for a vote or more discussions in the meeting if y'all want to talk about it some more. All right, discussion of the water rates. Mark, what do you have for us?
This could be long or this could be short. It's up to them. That's what I was saying, because it's 6:40 right now. So, all right, if y'all will go to page 1 of your booklet, where this is from EMI. This is first updating from a 2023 water sewer fund and rate model. That's when it was last done. We should do this every 2 to 3 years. In the second paragraph, the primary aspect of this study was a cost of service allocation, which determines the rate revenue requirements of different water and sewer customer groups based on their demand patterns, the infrastructure assets needed to serve these customers, and their location. The best ensures customers are paying their equitable, fair share for their water and sewer service. And all these practices in this study are included in the study or from the American Water Works Association. And that's very important to understand, because this is not some willy-nilly numbers just picked out there. They are following the American Water Works Association standards. You turn to page 2, their revenue projections from 2023 rate study are within 1.6 accuracy of what they predicted in 2023. Their expense projections are within 3% accuracy in 2024. So what they projected for revenue and what they projected for expenses is an excellent job and credibility back to EMI. You go to page 3. One of the things we had talked about as being some additional revenue sources if we made some changes. Somewhere back in time, all churches are registered as residential users, as well as some homeless centers, and a mountain cabin rental building in Tallulah. This makeup is 69 accounts. Their makeup would not be in residential. Again, part of the study is you pay your fair share for how you were using the water. If we made them to where they were commercial or institutional, that would bring in an additional $26,000. On part two, with multi-units, we are making the corrections on how those are being used. If you have a master meter, you have 143 units, whether they're occupied or not, you're paying the base rate for the base use of water of 2,000 gallons in sewer based upon all 143 units. Say you've got 100 units, that means you're paying the same fees for the other 43 units. Because otherwise you would have bought 143 water meters and metered each individual unit. We don't allow this anymore. The third one is correcting the billing system to accurately reflect the rate structure under this one, under the block tiers for non-residential users. You have a tier rate up to 2,000 gallons, up to 10,000 gallons, up to 50,000 gallons. It could be a university, it could be a large church, it could be a plant. And they all need to pay their fair share of what they're using. That case, under this scenario, it would be almost $16,000 by coding them correctly with their base use. So we have those things to think about. Number one and number three. Number two is being handled already. From there, Rhonda, if you will go to your PowerPoint. And guys, if you remember from last month, EMI gave us 4 options. And you go ahead and go to the next slide, please. With the update from 2023 study, repairs, maintenance, transfers, chemical supply were some of the highest increase expenses since 2022. That's where I'm reading in your same booklet. You would actually be on page 2. So you would keep going, go back to the beginning of where this section started at. Yeah, keep going. One more turn. Nope, the other way. Keep turning where you're coming forward.
6.
All right, so to the right charts right here for the initial 2023 test year projects, expenses are continuing to grow at a rapid rate. We all know about inflation. In 24-25, water capital outlays, repairs and maintenance, and water purchase continue to increase. These aggressive rate increases were uniformly applied in 23 through 25. All right, Rhonda. Average annual growth of 15% in the water and sewer fund expenses in the last 5 years. Repairs and maintenance is aging infrastructure is the second fastest growing expense, particularly in the water department. We've got 435 miles of water line. We produce enough water for 70% of the water for the county. And you can see in that chart up there where 66% is coming from the water department, 7% is your sewer, admin costs, and transfers. The transfers are how we fund the rest of the city. Our tax digest in the city is $471,000. Cornelia is roughly $4 million. Baldwin is about $2 million. Clarksville is about $3 million, and we're at $471,000. We just rolled the millage all the way back a full point, not to have a tax increase for the year 2026. We're the only one in the county to do that. So we're very conscious of our cash flows. New water customers and demand is only growing about 1% annually, and there's little to no growth in our sewer usage, meaning rates increase as high as 6 to 10% may be needed every year to keep up with the expenses if growth continues as it is. Our plant can handle up to 800,000 gallons of sewer a day. We're permitted at 400,000 gallons a day. All we have to do is ask to go to the 800,000 gallons. There's additional EPD requirements, things of that sort. So when we're hitting about 300,000 gallons a day. So we got plenty of room to expand with what's sitting on site, ready to go. And again, you're looking for a commercial use and industrial use, not the residential side to come in and take up that usage where you're growing your tax digest. So, and what we're doing is we're letting the subdivisions go outside the city limits, and then we're selling them a difference of the water rates for inside the city or outside the city with water and sewer. At this point, we've made a decision to sell them outside the city and not annex them for residential growth.
I don't think we're letting them.
Well, we're not asking them to annex into the city.
Right.
That's the point of what I'm saying. They have to ask us. We're not forcing anybody to annex into the city because they can get whatever they can get from the county out there. The projections in this study assuming a curve in expense growth with an annual increase of about 5% or an additional $250,000 in revenue requirements every year. So that's on average there. All right, Rhonda, please. The four options. One more page. Right here. Here are the four options under a 5-year plan. Alternative number one is to decrease non-operating expenses of our transfers every year. We'll talk about our current transfers with 1 month left to go later on when I do the financials. And we've got to cut that and be dead on that we're decreasing that. So that means over 5 years, if we're at 1.4 million, that means we're gonna cut $1 million out. So we gotta figure out how we're gonna fund the city side of $1 million and without a tax digest increase of $471,000. And I think when we had some examples to get an additional $1 million, it was gonna take the millage rate up to about 22 mils from our current 6.593 mils. Option two is the cost of service allocation. Evaluates infrastructure, volume, instantaneous demand by region, customer class, and meter size. Alternative number three was adjust existing rate structures, increasing the rates for high volume users and customers where demand is highest based on cost of equivalent, say that word. Equivalent, thank you. Volume units, average bill charges per gallon of water with different users. Or the fourth is annual uniform, just 3% across the board with a minimum net increase of 16% over that 5-year time frame. High increases may be needed depending on expenses in those immediate years to follow. Because what we're doing is we're giving a picture in time today for the next 5 years. It's a snapshot today and projecting what our expenses will be. Okay, Rhonda, please, ma'am. I took the liberty of keep going past till we get to the ones where I wrote on, please, ma'am. That would have been under that, remember those 5 pages we added? Okay. When this pulls up, you're gonna see the first one is the rate structure that we have today. And it's gonna show you where I added the numbers up because otherwise I'd just be rattling them off. All right, right here. Sorry for my penmanship. But the first one right there, and I'm just gonna talk in round numbers. Current right now for the base rate, which is 2,000 gallons, $52 a month for water and sewer. Same amount of water and sewer in the county is $82. Commercial is $113. Outside commercial is $217. Institutional inside is $157. Outside institutional is $210. Outside institutional could be Habersham school system that's not within our school, within our city limits. So $52 and $82 residential. All right, one more page. All right, this one here, this is the alternative cost. And this actually will take you, the number on the left is inside, $51. And we were at currently $51. It actually goes down 30 cents. And the outside would be $75, and it goes down about $6. Non-residential is $81, outside is $136. You can kind of see my numbers and where they're going here. But this is probably one that's probably more of in favor of big picture where you're not seeing the dramatic changes. Rate 3, it changes. This is with the high volume user group really taking the brunt of the cost, because again, paying for their fair value. So again, $54, $85. Commercial, $116, outside $220, $178, $246. Number 3, this is saying you're gonna have 3% increase for a net increase over the next 5 years of 16%. And that's also saying where our projections of expenses are staying within where they are. So residential's 53, it's going up $2 from where we are now. $84, it's going up $2. $117, $223, so forth. That was number 4 with that. Rhonda, I believe that to be the last one. All right, go back to the bill comparison of high volume users. That's the chart that looks like this. Yes, it would have been before where I added those. Right there. This gives them examples of where a prison system is, what they're currently paying a month. Then it shows you to the right a comparison what their bill would do with alternative 1 through 4. The worst case for them is alternative 3 with the high volume users. Their water stays the same with number 1. It goes up 4,000. It goes up about 4,000 for number 3. And you can see Piedmont University, where it is currently. It goes up $300 with 1. It goes up 13,000. It goes up with number 3 at 6,000. It goes up with number 4, 4,000. And so Fieldale Farms, right now, they just pay the water because they've got additional water and sewer with Baldwin and Cornelia, both of them. So you can see for them, number 2 hits them the hardest. The villa apartments down here that are not in the city limits, everything helps them when they get outside of the current. It goes cheaper. Next page. Oh, there should be another one above it then. Yes, average city resident. So again, you can look across to see from current all the way across. For the current, worst one is number 4, where it goes from 67 to 78. Average county goes from 59 to 69 with number 4. And again, the churches, they showed some churches here, but again, they're residential. And if we made that, you can, all right, let's look at Habersham Middle, which is in the city limits. The school would go from 1,000 to worst case being number 2. And the laundromat, you can see the difference for them. The worst one for them is number 2 and number 4. So it hits people at different levels. It depends on your usage and really what's going on. And because you pretty much, sewer is expensive due to the EPD requirements and the things that we have to do to treat the water to be usable to put back in. So that's a real cost there. This past month, when we go over the numbers, we did a total of about 51 million gallons that we sold around the county. And we paid Baldwin about 125,000, and we paid Toccoa about 25,000. So those are about the numbers. And in wintertime, we should see our numbers coming down. We got up as high as 65 million gallons in August and September. So next month would be the month But this billing that I'm talking about is for November, so we run 30 days behind. So December, you should see less, January, you should see less, and then starting in March and April, you'll see it starting to rise back up. So, what the summary was from this, in talking with Fletcher from last time, is alternative number 2 is what their recommendation is from them. Again, you can see here by looking what the effect is. Picking number 2 under current, their price is actually gonna stay the same at $67.45. The county is gonna go from $59.93 to $59.93. It's gonna stay the same because your base users are not being hit on that. Your high-end users is who is paying their fair equity. Because again, if I have to run a water line 10 miles to you, and I get to run water to a house right over here, again, it should cost more for you because I've got all this investment, or had this investment over the years and now maintaining it. Or if you've got to be on a pump station, that we've got to pump it uphill to get to you. And some of this is what we're talking about, how we get to the fair share of this. That's about as short as I can make that. And Fletcher's apologized, he had a family vacation scheduled, and they could not be here. So, questions?
I think that's a pretty good summary that option 2 will not have very much of an impact on the low volume users. And the low volume users are usually going to be those people on a budget. And I think that, the last few increases we've had, it's been across the board percentage, which has kind of resulted in those people at the bottom, low users, paying more overall percent for what they're using versus the high-end users. So option 2 does kind of course correct on what we've done in the last few years.
It does, but look at your last 3 pages of your packet.
So for 7 pages?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
This is one of the, I guess, problems I see with it is when we start comparing some of these down below. If you pick out one of these, just look at current bill, rate 2, what it'll go to, and what it compares down below.
I don't remember seeing that. Okay, yeah. Yeah. So that was what you asked for. I didn't see that.
I don't see it.
What he's showing y'all guys is at the bottom is the comparison to other cities, being larger cities and comparable size cities.
We also have to keep in mind that we'll have to stay competitive in future years as things grow, as some of these large consumers start consuming water that offset the residential rates that we need as large consumers.
And that's where the difficulty comes into.
And those large consumers have the ability to pull lines in other directions when they're paying $50,000 a year, $50,000 a month.
I will tell you that the lower tier people, I hear the comments in City Hall when they come in to pay and how they struggle. But unfortunately, I promise you, sitting here today, in the next few years, water is going to be your most expensive utility commodity. God really isn't making any more unless when he makes it flood.
with a hard brain. Otherwise, that's why we're looking at the options of our aquifer in the city of Baldwin, because we can produce an additional 1,000,000 gallons from the aquifer. The odds of us getting money from EPD to take an additional gallon out of the Chattahoochee is pretty small.
Yeah.
And that's why we're looking for water in other areas in other counties to have a water plant. And this is tough decisions.
Y'all wanna continue this conversation? Y'all have any questions? All right. Next, LMIG. Mark, what do you have for us?
LNIG, this year we've got, speaking round numbers, $42,000 been appropriated by the governor and GDOT. And that is about a $4,700 increase from what we had from 2025. And our 30% match will be roughly a little over $12,000. So we'll be sitting with an amount of about $54,000 from our 30% match and from LMIG. This is the regular scheduled LMIG. The last 3 years, the governor has sent us an additional LMIG with a zero match. But this is not that. This is the main LMIG, and this is due. We've got to approve it tonight so that we can turn it in to the state by January 31st. And the streets that Brian picked is Laurel Avenue. If you're going toward Piedmont on Georgia, you hang the right on Laurel Avenue, and it starts there going up. And then Fisk Avenue, West Central Avenue, and these are all where they're grinding and milling, and then we're going back with the new. And to all that, we're looking at $53,934. That's what a rough estimate has come in. We would put this out to bid in April, and they would do the work July and August. So roughly the same amount we've been paying per foot is with this same general proposal is the way we calculated this. So there's other pages in here, but the bottom line is that is what we're looking for, is the memo from Brian. The other part back here is the part that Megan has to prepare, and it's in miles, not in feet per se, because that's the way she has to prepare it. And these are the documents that Megan has to prepare to send to DOT.
Do we have any other comments about those roads? Accepting that grant? All right. Next is discussion of surplus on a fire truck.
Yes, sir. This is the 1997 Simon ladder truck. And if anybody has gone past the last several months, you've seen the ladder truck parked with the tarp on it, sitting behind the fire station. It's still sitting there. The county had a truck that was very similar to ours, very similar condition. If they surplus theirs in 2025, it was sold to a nonprofit group out of Texas. Whether you like it or not, they drive it across the line to Mexico and they repurpose it over there. And I've asked Chief Adams to contact this group to see if they have an interest in ours. I have not heard back. Brian called some of the rehab companies, and the guys have said, I wouldn't give you $1 for it because the transmission company is out of business. Simon Truck is out of business. Everything on this truck is very difficult because so many of the makers of this truck don't exist anymore. He says, I should then pay you $15,000 for it, but I can't because I can't get parts. What am I going to do with it? He said it could be worth more at the junkyard than it could be because of that. It depends on what your intent is.
So if the council moves forward to surplus this truck, we would have to give approval for a certain dollar amount
That's correct.
for you to put it out to bid for auction.
And we have this to go on
Deals.
gut deals on this. And we did sell the surplus rescue truck. We had put in there a minimum bid. I had 2 bids. One bid came in at $1111.11, and the other bid came in at $1,200. So, that's all I had from advertising that for those 2 weeks. And, we have an account with Gov Deals, and I told them I could be in touch with them once we have. You know, we had always heard that this truck needed $150,000. I had given the former chief up to $2,500 to have somebody come in and give him to get the truck started, because it wouldn't even start, and go through this truck. He gave a bid of $33,000. And I really was in shock in that number, because when I talked back to Brian and Mark Cardell, they said, well, that's not covering this on this truck. He said, so I don't know what you're gonna get to spend $33,000. So I elected to do nothing until we got to this point. And now, in seeing what the county was able to get for a same light truck is pretty limited. And again, because of the options of additional parts of it. And Brian probably talked to 3 guys.
Any discussion about the surplus in the truck?
What did the county get for their truck?
15.
15.
But theirs could drive all the way. We don't think ours could go that far.
No.
So.
I don't know, it'd go for top of who.
Oh, that's true.
Is that man machine?
Oh, we're selling.
And the other part of that is we do have, in talking with Chief Adams as we go through the current inventory, we do have a lot of expired turnout gear and other gear that's expired. And he is talking to this same group where they take this and they send them to lesser countries. So at least that firefighter has some protection where we can't use that after 10 years.
Right.
So we're working through those.
All right. Well, do we need to go into executive session now or after or some other time, Thomas?
I don't know if we need to put one in now,
Okay, very good.
but we will need one.
All right, let's take a 5-minute recess and meet up top.
We may have
Thank you, sir. Do we have a second? All those in favor? All right, my favorite part of the meeting. If anybody's here to speak, please step up to the podium. It's time for anything you'd like to say. Step up and speak. Anything at all.
Make sure that microphone is on tap.
All right. Y'all, I'm not much on public speaking, but I'm a community member here in Demorest. And I wrote a little page here in regards to the basketball court. Me and a bunch of fellows, we go over here and play a lot. So here it is. My name is Ryan Keith. I moved here 2 years ago with my wife and my 9-year-old son. My wife and I work for NGHS. I'm here to address potential plans to remove the gym. In the last 2 years, I've grown a community of friends who enjoy nightly pick-up basketball games. Having the gym has provided us so much opportunity for friendships, mentorships, and friendly competition. I have made friends and mentored so many others. It's seen firsthand the difference this has given us as an outfit that makes it such a tight-knit community. So as a current North Hazel resident, my perspective is we have a lot underutilized real estate with the dog park and playground. I think the committee should evaluate all the options to save the gym and add additional assets.
Thank you for your words.
Yeah.
You did a great job, Appreciate you. Would anybody else like to speak? All right, no more. We'll move on to approval of the minutes from December. Council, I believe these were emailed out to you, so if you've already read them, please make your motion to approve them or make changes. When you're ready. Sir?
Make a motion to approve, the minutes from December.
Thank you, sir. Do we have a second?
Second.
All those in favor? All right. Next, we're going to open this up for a public hearing. Thomas, do you want the floor?
Yes. So what you all have before you is a public hearing with regard to 4 different home rule ordinances that will amend the charter of the city of Demorest. What I will do is read the heading of each one, and then if anybody wants to speak or the council has any questions, we can address that. First one is a home rule ordinance to amend section 1.14, powers relating to the sale or lease of property of the charter of the city of Demorest to provide for procedures for the sale or lease of property, to repeal conflicting provisions of the charter, to provide for an effective date, and for other purposes. What this one essentially does is it brings the charter provision regarding sale and lease of property into line with state law while leaving in the unique provision that city had that real property to be sold had to be for at least equal to 1/2 of the last assessed value unless the council unanimously agreed otherwise. Mr. Mayor, do you want me to do these individually, or do you want me to go through all of them and then we'll?
You do them all at once.
Okay. The second one is a home rule ordinance to amend section 2.22, ordinance form and procedures of the charter of the city of Demorest to provide for procedures for introduction, adoption, and approval of an ordinance, to repeal conflicting provisions of the charter, to provide for an effective date, and for other purposes. What this one effectively does, it's a lot of words, but what it effectively does is give you all the right to approve ordinances without the requirement of 2 reads. The procedural protections in there, however, are that all of the elected officials have to be present, and if any one elected official objects, then it is put over to the next meeting, and that meeting serves as the first read, and it's just like it is now. The Third one is a home rule ordinance to amend section 2.29, powers and duties of the mayor of the charter of the city of Demorest to provide for an appointment of a mayor pro tem, to provide for nomination and approval of a council member authorized to sign checks, to repeal conflicting provisions of the charter, and to provide for an effective date and for other purposes. What this one does is there's two subsections, this 2.29. The current section allows the mayor to appoint a council member to head the various departments or to oversee or liaison with the various departments. This amendment removes that provision and instead provides for the mayor to appoint a council member as the mayor pro tem, and then to nominate a council member authorized to sign checks, and with the city council having the right to approve or reject that nomination. And then the fourth one is a home rule ordinance to amend section 6.25, contracting procedures of the charter of the city of Demorest to provide for approval of contracts by city council, to repeal conflicting provisions of the charter, to provide for an effective date and for other purposes. This simply adds the current contracting provision, basically just requires contracts to be drafted by me and approved by the mayor and doesn't require council approval, which is pretty odd. Most charters require that, so this simply adds a provision requiring that the city council approve contracts.
Thank you, sir. This is a public hearing, so it's opened up the floor. Council, do you have anything you would like to ask, change, questions? Anybody from the public would like to speak on these four topics? If none, we'll bring those forward and entertain those for a motion. Council, do we have a motion?
Are you asking for a motion for all four at once, or should we vote individually?
Thomas, how do you think we should do that?
I think you need to vote on them individually.
Okay. Council, I would like a motion for section 1.14.
I'll bring that motion.
Thank you, sir. Do I have a second? All those in favor? Next is the home rule to change section 2.22. Do we have a motion?
Make the motion.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Next is to change section 2.29. Do we have a motion?
I'll make that motion.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All those in favor? Next is section 6.25. Do we have a motion?
I'll make that motion.
Thank you. Do we have a second? All those in favor? Very good. Thank you, gentlemen. All right, next is the appointments to the mayor pro tem and check signers. I would like to designate Connie Bennett as mayor pro tem. Do we need to do these separate? Do we need to vote on these, or are these just a direct amendment?
I think that with regard to the mayor pro tem, it's just a mayoral appointment. I think with regard to the check signer, that one's approved by council, but let me confirm that.
Okay, and I have a recommendation of Mr. Sean Allen as the check signer. Do we have a motion to?
I'd like some discussion on that.
Yes, sir.
These two gentlemen have been in this position for over 2 years now. Don't you think it's time that the other of us get a chance at this?
Yes, sir. But it's my choice.
It is your choice.
Yes, sir.
I said,
Yes,
do not feel like as members of the council that we deserve opportunity to participate in this?
I do. So when I served on council, I was over the check signing too, and I think that there was a lot of ability to catch things that some of us don't get to see on a daily basis. Even the few times a year that I'm asked to sign checks,
Right.
I don't see those things on a weekly basis that Sean gets to see.
Right.
And I think that continuity of him getting to see that year after year builds a lot of trust and builds a lot of questions in that. And I think there's a ton of value to that. That's my reason behind it.
Okay. It's just your decision. I don't agree with it, but I think you're leaving it out after you vote on this.
We need a motion to approve the check signer as Mr. Sean Allen.
I'll make that motion.
Thank you, sir. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
All those in favor? Any noes? Okay. Next is consideration of workman's comp policies. We need just a motion to continue with a lower policy. Number three, which is a premium of $37,353.
I'll make that motion.
Thank you, sir. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
All those in favor? Very good. Next is consideration of the gym damage. I think first, I guess we need a conversation on how the council would like to proceed. If y'all would like to proceed with something this evening or continue the conversation, how would y'all like to proceed or have those conversations?
We've already voted.
Well, we voted on what to do with the parking lot, but not leaving it closed, leaving it open, letting somebody use it, those things.
I would like to suggest that while we still have it, while it is still functional, that we allow the Rapids to take advantage of the situation while we have it. But you gotta be ready to roll out as soon as we're ready to roll that thing up. And that's, if it was gonna be one of those buildings that, we're gonna have up for forever and ever, kind of like we used to do at the fairgrounds. It was just always known we were gonna have indoor soccer at the fairgrounds during this time and this time. We played, our kids played, our teams played, and but that's not the case here now, okay? And I'm just speaking for myself, but I'm picking humans over a building, okay? I'm not sending people out the front to get T-bombed by somebody speeding through town or something. We're gonna have a safe entrance and a safe exit for this parking lot. But until we are ready to do that, I would like to see somebody then taking advantage of it. That's just my thoughts.
You would have to have a formal contract.
We would, and we would have a minimum deadline time in there with a short window of notice, 10 days, 15 days, whatever. Sorry, but you may have, but that's what Thomas would work out here.
Yeah, the proposal that the gentleman provided tonight is effectively a letter of intent that we can turn into a contract pretty easily with some terms. And I've done something similar to this in Statham with ball fields and Snellville with soccer fields. So I've got some templates on my system that we can create a contract pretty easily. If the gentleman will give me his contact information, if it's not in here, I'll put something together, pass it through Mark, and then send it to him. We'll come back to y'all next month for approval.
So that takes up an entire month on this. Is there a way to shorten that, make a motion to conditionally approve anything without having to have a special call meeting just for this?
Sure. I think that, if you all are okay with the proposal that he laid out tonight and had the opportunity to review it, I think you can approve use of the gym under those terms, subject to a contract approved by the city manager and the city attorney. We can get that done pretty quickly.
My concern is with them using it for the soccer. So if you're using this facility for soccer teams, how easy would it be for someone in the field to come in and do it if you
We just have to coordinate. Just small goals, so it's nothing, there's no heavy. So that's not a problem.
Do you plan, so how far in advance do you have the games planned?
We're of course waiting for this, but we have weeks, and 2 months is where is the most beneficial for us to be able to do it during the winter months. So I appreciate somebody bringing it up, that timing is crucial. So just, we can be ready to roll in a week,
we get ready to roll out in a week. It's pretty, just the ball of getting the word out.
So within a week's notice,
Oh, yeah.
if something, other event was planned.
Correct, oh, yeah.
Yeah, those goals are foldable. You can just fold up those goals. And soccer starts in March. So those outdoors, so those weekends, Saturday and Sundays, the kids are gonna be playing outdoors. So. But yeah, those goals are getting moved, and I think Coach LaBarba, he put blue tape when he used to teach you, so it's already lined out for these goals. So there's no paint or nothing. Just two goals that just fold up.
I understand my motion to carry forward with that. Council, how would you like to proceed?
That's with what Thomas said in the motion. Okay, then I'll say.
Okay, all of those in favor of moving forward with this contract, and we start Jim, how would you like to proceed?
We didn't set an amount.
You did not. You can leave that up to the city manager, or however y'all like to handle it.
Short term, I mean,
I would like to ask a question, because I know I'm gonna get a phone call after this hits the media, the next group's gonna call it. Am I telling everybody else no? Like whether it's for a yard sale or something?
Well, at this point, you know, this lease is with, or this agreement is with them directly.
I
So
understand.
they'll have the entire specs, yeah.
Okay, I just need that as, tell them not have an issue, that's it. So thank you. Y'all are free to go.
Thank you guys.
I don't know, he's ready.
Next is conversation of the water rates. We have, it's not in front of us, and I know none of us take this lightly in how we proceed with these things. I think the only thing that I see in here is just some of those higher end users getting hit really hard.
So you know, it was presented to us, you know, a month ago. We've had a month to digest this. It's very wavering a little bit on option number 2. When I read it and got into the details of it, I was saying initially favor that. What's your opinion and what's your rate? Where are you going with what you're saying?
Well, to be honest with you, when I come to the EPI with Fletcher, I said, you know, where do we compare? Like, where do we land? I'd like to see those things, and that's where he put this together in our packet. So this is the first time I've got to analyze that this evening, and go through and see what it really does, the scope of everything. And I don't know if y'all know me, y'all know I hate meetings, so I don't know if we can have another special call meeting just to vote on this. But I think this is something that will affect our economy, will affect everyone in our community.
You know, I'm gonna vote for the one that's gonna do the use. On the portion.
And I agree, that's where I was sitting on this too, on this. And option number 2.
Going up, I see some of these users that are employers get hit pretty hard. That's a big conversation too. I don't know, I don't know.
We'll let it ride. I'll make a motion for number 2.
Thank you, sir.
Second.
Move forward with option 2, with the rate increase that we have. Council, how would you like to vote? Andrew?
Yeah, I was gonna join. I see what you're talking about. These bears and the bombs over.
Yes, sir. How would you like to vote, yes or no? Option 2, yes. All right, unanimous. Thank you, guys. All right, next is LMIGs. We need a motion to allow me to sign this LMIG for this grant to pave 3 streets. I'll make that motion. Thank you, sir. Do we have a second? All those in favor?
I don't know how y'all made this work.
We need to have a conversation about the surplus of the fire truck. We need an amount that the city manager can accept, a minimum bid when they surplus this fire truck.
What's the recommendation?
It's a scary thought, guys, because again, it depends on your intent. I mean, you almost have to say $1. But then again, is that realistic? We put it at 10,000, and it comes in at $5,000.
And we gotta send it back out.
Correct.
Next meeting, correct.
And what I foresee the funds being, Casey and I and the police department have discussed the surplus of the $1,200 and the surplus of this truck, the assets that Casey can use for community outreach as something that we can do with those. We've talked about various things from a golf cart where they can patrol the 2.2 miles, not in their vehicles, people can see them, anything like that. So we've talked about that. So this surplus is very important to fulfilling some of these plans and goals that we have for 2026. And that's where the scary number, where the guy said I should be able to tell you 15,000, but I can't, because there's no parts that I can get. And at Root, that does the nonprofit down to Mexico, they didn't have to tow this thing. How much does that truck weigh, roughly, Franklin?
It would take a big truck to pull that thing.
Yeah. And so, we're just at kind of at crossroads with a 1997 Simon truck that you can't get parts for. Because if you donated it to somebody, to a South Georgia, some other community, they can't afford to fix it. Then what do they have if they spend $150,000?
So what value you put into it, assuming that it would be sold for someone who would use it for parts.
$10,000, $5,000, and I'm just stabbing at the wind because who knows? The county ran could drive, they knew it could drive all the way to Texas and Mexico. They got $15,000. Ours can't do that.
Mr. Smith, you got a opinion?
Yeah, take it down here to the junkyard and run across the scale. We got a whole lot more money.
We got to tow it there.
Well, still.
We may come out losing on that.
Nah, I don't think so. That's a lot of weight.
Recycle center? Put it on there, I'm okay with that, I recommend that, let's just see where it goes.
So we need to have a dual motion, Andrew. We need to have a motion to surplus the truck and a motion for a minimum bid of $5,000.
Making a motion to surplus the truck.
I second. All those in favor to move forward with that $5,000. All right, thank you, guys.
Did y'all make both motions?
It was one motion.
Okay.
All right, next is the county contract for inspections. What do you got for us?
Just, we knew back in October, yeah, it was in the backside of your, on this, so it should be on the backside of your left side.
That was an addition.
It's a red line addition because we got this the other day, Thomas reviewed it, and Tim Sims is in his, training class in Atlanta, so he was not able to respond to, Thomas's question and so forth. Because we had approved someone, David Turpin, to take over this effective December 31st, back October, November. He came to see me 10 days ago and said he's got to decline because of some personal situations and he can't do it. And we were prepared for all this to start January 2nd. And we have the files from Honor Code, who is dissolving her business to go work full-time for another jurisdiction and not work for herself. So it kind of left me in a tizzy of what we could do, because she finished up 12/31. She forwarded to us her spreadsheets of, I want to say, Rhonda, correct me, there's 5 open permits that she has left to do. Is that you think that's an accurate number?
No.
You think it's more than that?
Oh, yes.
Okay, we'll scratch that. And so it's got where she is in existing contract, in continuation of existing permit schedules. Because anybody going forward would have one. Because you don't start until certain points of achievement there. So I contacted Tim Sims at the county and said, do you think Mike Beecham and y'all could do this? He pulled together a potential contract, and they can do that. And Thomas has some questions about what's the procedures, how do we give you this information, how do we give it back? So we have some questions of those things. We paid our inspector $65 for inspection. So we'll be working through these numbers, and this is something that needs to happen as soon as we can, and I would like to ask to see if we could have it under the same premise that where Thomas and I can approve this, because Rhonda has inspections that needed to start on Monday, yesterday, and so we're in a kind of standstill until Tim gets back in the office on Friday. And that way we can get some of these answers, and then we can have this. And, you know, I could have gone a third party out there, independent company to do, and I just think with our working relationship with the county, this could be a good avenue to look at, and I would recommend us go with the county on this.
Council, how would y'all like to proceed? I do know this is something important that we need to get done as soon as possible. So I do think that either we have to have another meeting or to allow the city manager or the appointment of one of the council members or somebody else to help put this together.
I'll make a motion for the city manager to, put this together with the county and the city attorney.
Thank you, sir. Do we have a second?
I'll second that.
All those in favor?
Very good. Thank you.
All right, manager's report.
I would like to start out by thanking our Demorest Fire Department and our Habersham Fire Department for a smooth transition the other day on December 31st. And we did that at 8 p.m. on that evening. And we are working through the inventory equipment with their department. We all have a list, all the pictures have been taken, and they are going through and sizing the equipment, things of that sort. And so we are verifying property values of the different equipment, whether it's the 8 chainsaws, whether it's the crowbars, and putting that on there, which is gonna probably take us a month or two. And so that is well on its way, and what I foresee happening, and what Tim and I and the chief has discussed, is that we will come to agreement of the items that they want. And that will be a credit for the city in our second year, along with the current credit that we have on the lease payment on the truck and the rent. And same thing with our new phone, the new, radio that we had purchased that we had not received yet. What we paid for those, that will be another credit at that point in time. So, this week we'll pick up the remaining computers and telephones and iPads, that kind of stuff. It's all been unplugged and all set to the side. That's the last thing we had. And, we had 3 recliner chairs that had the logo of the Demorest Fire Department embroidered into the chair. And I gave Lance the option for them to figure out. You got a total of 16, 15 guys. They may want those 3 chairs as a symbol, and they get a selection, and those will give them who wanted those out of those guys, so that they could have those. And so that all went as planned. In another thing that we did in the month of December with our school resource officer in the city is, in the police department, we did an empty stocking. We donated, I think, maybe 600 stockings for them to fill various items to give to every student at Demorest Elementary School.
They were bags.
What was it?
Bags.
Bags. And they put different items in there, so every child was going home with something with that. And the other thing we did right before Christmas, while they were still in school, I think the 17th or 18th, is we supplied a breakfast for the teachers and staff at Demorest Elementary. So we got a lot of applause out of those things. So my point is, with our relationship with our school resource officer and Ms. Jones, I really see some community nice involvement coming together between the two, and we've had, because Joe has been a good liaison on those things. To remind y'all, the water rates, we did have the increase effective January 1st from Baldwin. I will talk with Fletcher tomorrow, because he didn't indicate when this rate would go into play, because Rhonda and Megan and the Tyler system will have to have some changes, obviously, in when that billing will start, so I do not know the answer to that. We received an email last week that said we were gonna make a change at City Hall of the office hours. Having to always have 2 people there doing lunch, if somebody's out, it make it difficult. So the ladies asked, could we go to a lunch period for them from 1 to 2, where the City Hall is completely closed for that hour? That way we're not having to cover if somebody's out on vacation or sick or something to that degree. So it is yesterday and today. I haven't heard of any negative, but we've got it out there posted. We got it on information on a sign, and then next week we'll be scheduling for the sign man to come change the hours on the door, but everything is posted. So just share that information that from Monday through Friday from 1 to 2, City Hall is closed. And we had, y'all heard me mention back in early December that we're gonna roll out iPads and get rid of all this. And it is a very stressful item for that young lady and the others in building these packages. And I know we'll have to have some training. And we are working with IT for iPads. We are working with Verizon Corporate. And it's because Megan, the system that Megan is emailing y'all with, that's what you would get on your iPad.
I do have a question about that as far as the service on that. I mean.
Of Verizon service, be online, is that what you're asking?
I mean, what's the necessity of that? I mean, I assume we all have Wi-Fi at home, right? Stop me if I'm wrong, you guys. Right. Jimmy, you got Wi-Fi? Mm-hmm. So we all have Wi-Fi to be able to access the internet. If we don't, I mean, we've got Wi-Fi here that we can come to use. So I don't see what the necessity of having Verizon service.
And that is a fair question, because the question would be is, you would have to be at your house on this, or you're only using your Wi-Fi, but is it it's a security question, and correct me in our discussions, because is it a secure line for all the documents that you're pulling up on this email? That's outside of my realm, and we've scheduled to meet with them again, to see what the additional, what was the cost per, you remember off the top of your head? For them to have the monthly service on these?
I think it's $20 per
Okay.
iPad. And if that's the case, we'll have to send the iPads back. We can't, we'll have to go through a different carrier. We won't be able to go to Verizon.
This, yeah, I mean, I have a computer, I use my own Wi-Fi for that, and that computer has all sorts of security built into it. I don't know, I mean, I don't understand why we can't have that on the iPads themselves.
Can I ask ACG
Yeah.
with that? Because what does that mean if you're accepting these documents on your work computer? Does that mean all that is on there? I don't know.
I mean, it's on the work computer.
I understand, but could your work computer be confiscated in some ordeal with your employer? And then they have all this access, where this is just in on your iPad? Those are things.
Would this be any different than what we're getting now through our email?
You're not gonna have this book sitting here.
We're just not gonna have these paper copies.
You're not gonna have the paper copies.
But we're getting it now, right?
You are.
Yeah.
But it's going to your city email.
Right.
Which you're probably using your own phone. I mean, I like the idea of having.
Saving the cost of paper
Time.
and ink, which is very expensive, and time for staff to do that. I mean, overall, I think
Using that.
getting an iPad in the long run would be cheap, would save the city more money. I just question why we need, Verizon service on something like that.
And we can just come back to you with an email or even the justification from our and security. Make sure that we have that, please. With that, I will start into the police department. Casey, if you'll come up so I can ask you a couple questions. This is these statistics are for the month of November. 379 total calls. There were 3 domestic calls, 1 physical and 2 verbal. There were 10 incident reports, 9 accidents. Officers made 135 traffic stops, issued 76 citations, that's 56%. And the officers completed 52 hours of training. Casey and the work that they did with others too in raising money for the Christmas for Kids. Casey, if you'll talk about what all y'all raised and what all we did.
For the last 2 years since I've been chief, we've contacted the school counselors, and they gave us a list of kids who were in need. And we can go out in the community and we ask for donations. And this year we had it set to where we had $300 a kid, and we overdid our donations, so we had $450 a kid. And I have thank you notes out in the mail right now for everyone who donated. Thank you to April and Mel. They took the money for people who donated. They kept a list of who donated, their addresses, so I was able to send them a thank you card.
It's got nice little hearts on it.
Yes, I give Sean one today.
You got a card with nice little hearts. Thank you.
And how this worked was the children or their parents or Joe or the counselor gave a list of kid size, jeans, shirt, you got the basic stuff.
What they wanted, what kind of toys they wanted. And we were able to go out as a police department and get all that stuff.
And I got to participate, and it was the most overwhelming when you know that that kid's getting that soccer ball, that football, that baseball, those shoes, that jacket, that kid's underwear, etc. Toothbrush and toothpaste, And it was a very uplifting, and of course we went to Walmart and there was no sales tax. And so it was, how many kids did we have that day?
It was 7 kids altogether, and need help kind of, because like I said, since I've been a chief for the last 2 Christmases, we've done this. So we need help trying to find a name for this for every year so we can.
This You got shot with the cop by Hero and different things, but ours is really different.
We do it a little different, and there's reasons why, but I can tell you all that reasons if you want to know.
But the kids either went to Demorest Elementary or they went there and they had a sibling.
Some of them had siblings at other schools.
And Lonnie, you did a lot of this stuff too through your schools. It's on the needs and what.
It's much appreciated, for sure.
And then when you see what Meredith and those ladies do with the food pantry, they're giving out 2 weeks worth of food right there before Christmas to these kids, and you see the excitement on an everyday basis when they get that back.
That's another thing we did. We had enough also. There's 2 families. We gave them a gift for Christmas dinner.
I wrote down H and H. What? I don't know what my note said. Was there something else?
Down at Chevron down here.
Oh, that's right.
We, for the last several weeks, I've been getting a lot of calls from parents who, their kids are, underage kids are buying alcohol. So, I set up something to, test that out, and we did have some, minors buy some alcohol. So last Friday night, I shut the H&H down for 24 hours because of that. That's what's in our ordinance. When it comes to children and laws against like that, I have no tolerance for that. Has nothing to do with the Chevron or any other store. But that's against the law, you know. And it's one thing, I know college kids are one thing, but these are high school kids. These high school kids went into this store and bought alcohol with no problem. So,
Tell me more information
and we've had other calls about tobacco products, and we're working on all that. And the goal is to just make that stop, you know, just to let them know that we're out there and we're going to do our job. Has nothing against the store or anybody, but we just can't tolerate that stuff.
Thank you for that.
Can we add something to address alcohol policy to the agenda after executive session?
We can make a modification.
Okay, I want to make a modification to the agenda to add that after city manager contract.
Second. We have a second? Second. All those in favor to add alcohol? Andrew?
All right, moving on to our water. Last month, we're not operating within our permits due to some water issues, additional water. And you can see we have a belt press issue, the inflow of infiltration through our manholes, and solid dewatering belt press. And a process control sampling analysis is being conducted routinely.
And this was in November.
Yes, and so I have asked for an update from Fletcher of how we're going to correct these items ASAP. And again, he told me he will be back by Thursday.
Belt press is operational, from my understanding.
Okay. But the drinking water system is within our permits. From Brian's reports, we had 20 emergency locates, 309 regular locates, 213 work orders. We had 13 leaks repaired in the month of November. We have a net water loss of 605,000
gallons.
Yes, sir. See it right there? We set 13 meters in that month. Like I said, by the time we calculate into December, we should be in the 135 to 145 range. We had a total of 50 million gallons of usage, being 43 million from Baldwin, 5 million from Toccoa, and 3 million from our Mize well. So that's where I was saying that the water usage, as it gets colder, will start decreasing. We had streets, leaf and brush, 685 pickups with that, along with them, doing all the Christmas decorations and the, Christmas lights and our new Christmas tree design that Mayor Harkness came up with. And Habersham County Fire used almost 23,000 gallons. Going to our financials, we had a water advance this month of $133,000. Our health insurance for the month was $23,000. And we did make some grants, payments for our grant writer for what they've accomplished so far. We did pay animal control of Habersham County. And
That'll be coming up on it soon.
what's that?
Animal control.
We just paid it
For the next.
Yes, we paid it the other day for 2025. It's a matter of when they invoice us. Water sales was 483,000, sewer revenue 75,000, and the water install fees of those 13 was almost 44,000. Hydrant fees of 14,000, and this month we paid 120,000 of all, and 22,000 total. You'll go to page 1 of our financials. Total general fund, this is November 30th, is 138,000. And the cash balances, obviously today is January 6th, but the cash balances as of December 10th were 153,000. Our current balance is 545 in November and the 1st of December. I'll tell you what the current is when we received our $36,000 around December 16th, when I get to that part. Overall cash is 3.5. December 10th is 3.7. Our total operating cash is 633,000 November and 749 in December 10th. I'll tell you that is because we'll talk about cash reserves. And again, we've got enough total liquidity for 4.04 months through the November 25th. Those payables are listed here, and we'll just have to add the month of December on these payments here. So we're in line with that. You go to page 4, you'll see for the month we took in general fund $26,401. We had expenses of general government, police and courts, fire, public works, being the streets, of $279,000. That leaves a shortfall of $252,000. And we transferred from the water department $133,000. You'll see to the right of that, we are at $1,485,000, and our budget is $1,391,000. And I will have one more month to go in there. So we've had some additional expenses, and once we get year-end numbers, we can go through and see where those additional expenses came through for that. And that's part of the main discussion, is those limiting those transfers there. So page 5 is where you'll see the breakout. We are of our projections of income, we are going to be, pending that we use the average amount for 2025, we should be $103,000 over budget of the income, and we should be $164,000 under budget on the expenses using the average of what we've got left to do, and that's excellent in there. That again, our projections from Fletcher and EMI are that close of 103 over and 164 under. And so things have come into play with those projections. And SPLOST, our balance in SPLOST as of today, because we got an extra $36,000 around the 16th of December. Our SPLOST dollars is $581,133. It was the $545 that you see back there. So that said, I will close my reports.
Thank you, sir. Any questions? Alright. None. We'll open it back up for appearance and public comments. None, we'll entertain a motion to go into executive session.
Personnel, litigation, and acquisition, disposition of property.
Thank you, sir.
I'll make that motion, that's there.
Second? Second. All those in favor? Very good.
What's the order I go?
Sir?
What's the order do I go? We'll talk about the other two.
You come first, we'll talk.
Last. We'll leave go last. We'll discuss me last. Okay.
Listen here. You want me to go back on?